Did you hear there is no Comix Con this year? I know, it is so sad. Wait, what is that?
Greetings to everybody at Comic Con. We are Clan MacCool, and we are here to sing you a few of our favorite Celtic songs, plus we're going to throw in one of our maritime favorites as well. Let's lead off with an old Celtic favorite called Bedlam Boys.
What a scene I saw Bedlam, 10,000 miles I traveled, not bottling girls and dirty jokes for the same shoes to gravel. Still I sing money boys, money mad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, but they all go there and they live by the year, and they want more drink, more money. I went down to Satan's kitchen to get some food one morning, and there I got so piping hot, all on the table turning. Still I sing money boys, money mad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, but they all go there and they live by the air, and they want more drink, more money. Me stack has muttered giants, and me died along my patties, but I cut mince pies from children's pies and feed them to the fairies. Still I sing money boys, money mad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, but they all go there and they live by the year, and they want more drink, more money. The spirits white as lightning would on me travels guide me. The moon would shake and the stars would quake whenever they espied me. Still I sing money boys, money mad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, but they all go there and they live by the year, and they want more drink, more money. And when that time of murder and that man in the moon's full powder, his staff will break and his dog all shake and they'll howl even louder. Still I sing money boys, money mad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, but they all go there and they live by the year, and they want more drink, more money. What a scene I saw of Bedlam, 10,000 years of trouble, not knowing girls and dirty jokes for the same shoes to gravel. Still I sing money boys, money mad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, but they all go there and they live by the year, and they want more drink, more money. Still I sing money boys, money mad boys, Bedlam boys are bonny, but they all go there and they live by the year, and they want no drink, no money.
Very good, Audrey. Again, we are Clan MacCool. Very quick introductions. Over here on fiddle is Steve. To his right is Banjo Jack. To his right is Robin. To his right is Mr. Squeeze Jim Rice. You just heard from Audrey with Bedlam Boys. Next up is George with Whiskey in the Jar, and following George will be Jack with Dear Old Donegal. Following Jack will be Bethany to wrap it up with a song called Sugar in the Hole. George, take it away.
As I was going over the Piping Kerry Mountains, I met with Captain Farrell and his mine he was counting. At first produced me pistol and that then produced me rifle. So stand and deliver, for I am about the stable, not so late for you and I. Whack all the daddy-o, whack all the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. I counted out his money and it made a pretty penny. I put it in my pocket and I took it home to Jenny. She sighed and she swore that she never would deceive me. But I'll take the women, for they never can be easy for shutting their rear and now. Whack all the daddy-o, Crack all the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. I went up to me chamber, up for to take a slumber. I dreamt of golden jewels and precious, it was no wonder. For Jenny took me charges and she filled them up with water. And sent for Captain Farrell to be ready for the slaughter. Crack all the daddy-o, crack all the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. 'Twas early in the morning, just before I rose to travel. Upon me then the footman, and what was Captain Farrell? I first produced me pistol, for it stole away me rapier. But I could not shoot the water, so a prisoner I was taken. What shall I do now? Crack all the daddy-o, crack all the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. Well, some take delight in their carriages a-rolling, others take delight in the hurling and the bowling. But I take delight in the juice of the barley, and courting pretty fair maids in the morning, bright and early, my shirley, Crack all the daddy-o, crack all the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. If anyone can aid me, 'tis me brother in the army. I think that he is stationed in Cork or in Killarney. If he'll go with me, we'll go rolling in Kilkenny. I swear he'll treat me better than me, oh, Miss Fortin Jenny, my shawty, Crack all the daddy-o, crack all the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar, my shawty, Crack all the daddy-o, crack all the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar.
Well, I forgot to introduce one person, that would be myself, but I'm just the lucky guy that gets to hang around all these fine, talented folks. All right, let's go next to Jack with Dear Old Donegal.
It seems like only yesterday I wandered from the Cork, and I sailed out from Orleans now, but landed in New York. There wasn't a soul to greet me there, a stranger on the shore, but Irish luck was with me, and riches came galore. And now I'm going back again to dear old Erin's Isle. My friends will see me on the pier and greet me with a smile. Their faces sure I've almost forgot, I've been so long away. Well, me mother will introduce them all, and this their name will say. Here comes Brannigan, Flanagan, Milligan, Gilligan, Duffy, McGuffy, Malachi, Malone, Rafferty, Lafferty, Donnelly, Connolly, Dewey, O'Hooley, Muldowney, Malone, Colonna, Olona, O'Lanahan, Flanahan, Fagan, O'Hagan, O'Houlihan, Shanahan, Manahan, Fogarty, Hogarty, Kelly, O'Skelly, McManus, again. She can't with her Uncle Mike, me lawyer, here's your sister Kate, and here's that girl you used to swing down by the garden gate. Shake hands with all your neighbors and kiss the kinds all. You're as welcome as the flowers in May to dear old Donegal. And now I'm going back again to dear old Erin's Isle. Me friends will see me on the pier and greet me with a smile. Their faces sure I've almost forgot, I've been so long away. But me mother will introduce them all, and this one they will say. Here comes Brannigan, Flanagan, Milligan, Gilligan, Duffy, Malachi, Malone, Rafferty, Lafferty, Donnelly, Connolly, Dewey, O'Hooley, Muldowney, Malone, Colonna, Olona, O'Lanahan, Flanahan, Fagan, O'Hagan, O'Houlihan, Shanahan, Manahan, Fogarty, Hogarty, Kelly, O'Skelly, McManus, they win. Shake hands with your Uncle Mike, me lad, and here's your sister Kate, and here's that girl you used to swing down by the garden gate. Shake hands with all your neighbors and kiss the kinds all. Well, I'll pay no rent and I'll be content in dear old Donegal. Ergo bra, yeah!
Very good. All right. We're going to wrap it up with a little maritime piece from Bethany. This one is called Sugar in the Hold.
Oh, hold.
Hold.
Oh, I wish I was in Mobile Bay. Snoop got $1 a day, got $1 a day. Go save that place, throwing sugar in the bowl below. Hey ho,
Thank you very much to Sissy Mize and crew for letting us shoot a video of us over to you. So enjoy the rest of your show, and we will talk to you soon. Once again, music, merriment, and a bit of mayhem. We are MacCool!
Thanks for the cue there, chicken. On this episode of HCS Creates, we are going to build a superhero vehicle for a real-life superhero. So who is this real-life superhero, you ask? Well, I'm glad you did. You see, a couple of years ago, we met a young man who goes by the name of Mighty Matthew, and he really struck me back then as a real positive force of, well, positivity. So when I met him, it was really, and watched him over the years, the last couple of years online, it was just really moving and inspiring to see how positive he's able to stay throughout all of these operations and medical procedures and whatnot. So I got an idea in my head to build this this chopper. Okay, it's a mini chopper. Thank you there, chicken. My rooster is always correcting me. I've been wanting to build this mini chopper and for myself, but I really don't need another thing in the garage. I really don't. So I thought, you know what, I still want to build it. I've accumulated the things over the last couple of years, and but I'm going to build it for a cause, and I'm going to build it to raise awareness for an awesome organization called Tiny Superheroes, and then I'm going to give it to Matthew. And so I'm going to, once we figure out the design of what we want to do, we're going to enlist the help of some really amazing artists and fabricators to really take this little mini chopper that looks like I really dug it out of a trash can. It's pretty rough. We're going to clean it all up, we're going to soup it all up, and we're going to make it look like something worthy of an actual superhero, and then we're going to give it to him. And I'm just really excited. So let me show you what we got in store. So this is the chopper that I got off of a little online shopping place, local thing. I picked it up. I couldn't even tell you what I paid for it, but it was one of those. It didn't really run. It's got a lot of really high-tech engineering, like this, rubber band thingy, the zip ties. It's got some really high-speed stuff like duct tape. Which, I mean, let's be honest, all builds should have some duct tape, just maybe not that prevalent. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to demonstrate it, how it does with my 6'4", 250-pound butt zipping around the yard. The first thing I know I'm going to do is we're going to put this Honda Rebel gas tank on it. And then I was thinking, for it to be a superhero bike, it really needs to have some kind of outlandish comic book kind of styling about it. So the first idea I had was, well, what if I take these fiberglass fenders? These are, I think they're called wheel skirts, but they're from a Piper Cub, a plane. And if I make my front fender like that, and then I put these up higher like this, then I've got a really exaggerated kind of Art Deco style, and if you come around to the back, then you can kind of see how this would have just a really cool tail section. This to me looks like it would be a really awesome design. So we, the very first step of doing this is going to be taking off the seat and sending it to this guy right here.
Me.
If you haven't seen some of the wicked upholstered seats of Hatton Cross Steampunk vehicles, or if you have seen them and you've drooled, it's because this guy made them. So Mike Perotti, aka the Colonel, of Master Creations, does some really wicked upholstery.
Thanks.
And he is going to do the seat. But we had to undo a little bit of, you know, some good old Virginia backwoods engineering to get this apart. There's some really neat bolt combinations, but this is the seat, still attached to the fender. Look at these bolts here. Let me tell you. Oh boy! So this is, the good thing about stripping all this down is that we can clean it up
And do it right.
and we can do it right. And we're talking about some color combinations because Matthew's logo is green and yellow. He has kind of a M design and he has a lightning bolt. So there's two different things that we can kind of play around with. So one of the things I want to do is I want to swap out that little bitty front tire, which makes steering very squirrely. But it also will make it heavier. And so in order to kind of beef up the stability, I want to see if I can take this little cart. So a lot of possibilities, but I think this is working out to be a pretty sick hot rod or a superhero trike. And when I get the actual motorcycle wheel on the front there, all right, so cleaned up the frame a little bit. I cut the back wheel frame and I got everything ready to weld. I'm gonna tack weld that into place. All right, so I welded the frame is welded on now. It's only welded on in these two pieces right here, and I'm gonna make a brace that goes from the back to here and back to here, and that should stiffen it up more than enough. I think it's really starting to look more along my vision of a superhero trike. All right, so I made this piece here. It goes down and on that side, and then they're welded into the frame here, here, and then back here. So should give it a nice bit of rigidity to it. Today's goal is going to be pretty big. I'm going to take this gas tank. I finally got a cover from Amazon for it, to keep it, a cap for it. And it's going to replace this super fancy, awesome deluxe Redneck Model 2.0 gas tank with the bungee cord. That's all going to come off. And we're going to fit this one to it. I'm also going to bolt these to the steel pieces that we put in. Well, I got the rear fenders on, and I'm going to work on the sheet metal piece that goes back to kind of close all of this up and look purred. Alright, kind of hard to do this and show, but my rear fender mock-up compliments of Chewy Dacko. So Mike here has brought the seat in for sizing, fitting, whatever. And now I get to go back to the drawing board on how I want to do this part here on the back. But this is really going to be freaking... Alright, well, the front wheel is finished with its... I also swapped out the little bitty headlight for this one from our project bike over there. Well, it's like Christmas today because Stephen Chapman's missile launchers that he made for the Mighty Matmobile arrived, and I'm going to do a unboxing reveal. So these are all of the pieces. They came, of course, bubble wrapped like a true professional, in bags, everything done, and he even did a video for me on YouTube on how to put it together. I, of course, am terrible at following instructions, so I'm going to try to do it without watching the instructions. All right, it's times like this where I wish I had somebody, a second person here filming me while I was doing this, because as I took it out of the box and as I was putting it together on the bike, I literally was squealing like a little kid. I mean, if you just look at it. I mean, Matthew, I'm starting to think that maybe I'm not making this for you. I got to keep it for myself because this is just too cool. I'm kidding. The mighty Matmobile now has freaking rocket launchers. Oh, and look at that beautiful seat that Mike Perotti made. It is the green with the yellow stitching and the black, and it's comfortable and it looks fantastic. All right, so my black is done on the frame. So now I'm going to untape and unwrap all of this goodness. So I got her all unwrapped. I'm going to take some degreaser and really clean this engine up as clean as I possibly can. And hopefully one of our mechanic buddies is able to give it a one-over and make sure it's all good to go. And maybe help me out with this awesome wiring mess that I've got. But you can see it's just the yellow, green, and black really have an awesome contrast and pop. Alright, so I masked off and painted the tank, but I really don't like how, I think this matches Matthew's logo, but it does not match the green of the seat very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this other darker green and kind of redo the paint. I also noticed that I didn't do a very good job of sanding and Bondo, so you can see I have some really ugly pieces to fix. So it is back to the drawing board, sanding and painting again. I have painted the gas tank and rear section. Basically I've got it to the point where I have wet sanded it with 800 grit, and now that I have the pinstriping in place, I am going to put about 10 coats of clear on it and then polish that down to a nice glassy smooth finish. Really loving how this color combo is coming out. And I think this darker green is much closer to matching the seat, so it looks really good. And we are getting a whole lot closer. So I have the base paint of the rear fenders done. And while I like the look of this, I can't get vinyl that matches. This is it's just too much lighter than this kind of goldish yellow. And the other problem I had is with the vinyl, I keep having all of these just parts where I just can't get it, perfectly smooth. So since it doesn't match, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use this as a paint masking, basically. And I went ahead and I did these pinstripes. I left the top layer on it, and I'm taping it up, the green around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray yellow here, and it'll have the yellow round, and then Mighty Matmobile and his logo will be in yellow. And then I'll peel all of this off. I'll peel the top layer of this off, and it should look pretty slick. Let's hope, at least. Yeah, I really wanted the vinyl to work out, but I just am not good enough with, it's a curve this way and a curve that way, and I maybe made it too big, or I don't know, we'll see. But hopefully this painting part of it works out. So while the bike is not yet finished, there's just a few minor things to do to finish it up and deliver it to our hero, Mighty Matthew. But we wanted to give you a little quick view to close out this video, and just see the awesomeness that is the gift that Hatton Steampunk has been working on for Mighty Matthew. Mike, tell us something.
So what is a hero? To me, a hero is somebody who does the right thing in the face of adversity, doesn't look for any kind of accolade, and does it even when they're not feeling like they should do something, or maybe just crawl up in the ball, and Hero just guts it out and does the right thing and helps people who need help. So that's why we decided to go ahead and do this for Matt, because he is that kind of person.
Yeah, and even Matt the Rooster agrees. But so I really don't need to add anything to that, because Mike said it best. I think they're the obvious heroes, like, you know, military, police, first responders, doctors, firemen, fighters, and stuff. And there's the not so obvious heroes that that really just inspire other people to be better. And they push through, like Mike said, and we were inspired by Matt and his actions every day to make the mighty Mattmobile. So I want to thank those that have helped. This incredibly gorgeous custom-made seat made by this guy right here.
Yeah.
Came out beautiful. I want to thank Stephen Chapman for making these rocket launchers that were custom designed and 3D printed. Yeah.
And the paint job done by you, and you know, conceptually these are the wheel fenders off a Cessna plane, and Dave and I thought they'd make cool fenders for this trike. And
Yep.
paint scheme is Matt's colors.
Yeah, Matt's colors
and
all the way.
Matt's symbols on there. So
Oh, and I want to thank Chris Arndt. It hasn't shown up yet, but he made these logos for the side tank.
That'll look like these.
That look like the Mighty Matt logo, and so that's going to look pretty slick when it's on there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the folks who are going to help tune up the engine, finish up the electrical, the cool wires you see hanging there, and then we can deliver it to Matt.
I'm looking forward to that day. That'll be fun.
Yeah, me too. Especially, I mean, not so much driving up to wherever it is that he lives, like in New York or something like that, or Connecticut, but when we roll this off, we roll this off the trailer and see that face, that's going to be a pretty momentous day for me.
Absolutely.
And anyway, cheers everybody at the Gloucester Library Comix Con. Hope you're all feeling heroic or inspired to do heroic things.
Out here to the Gloucester Public Library Comix Con. You guys having fun? Yeah. Alright. So what is the awesomest, coolest thing you've done or seen so far?
welcome to Story Time. Today we're celebrating the virtual Comix Con here at the Gloucester County Public Library. I'm Miss Sarah and I have a special story for you today about superheroes. Our book today is called Emergency Kittens. It was written by Jody Jensen Schaefer and illustrated by Dave Mottram. And our book today is read with permission from Doubleday Books for Young Readers. Are you in a tough spot? Has life got you down? Maybe you need a superhero, someone muscly and fierce, possibly wearing tights. Or maybe you need emergency kittens. Meet Mimi, meow, Twee Twee, meow, and Adorbs. Hi. These three cuties make everything better. Jamie drops her ice cream cone. Chin up, Jamie. You've got emergency kittens. Oscar gets a bad haircut. Or does he? Thanks, emergency kittens. Emma gets stuck in a tree until emergency kittens save the day. We're emergency kittens. We make everything better. Unfortunately, not everyone knows about emergency kittens. Meet Sheldon. Hello. One day, when Sheldon is playing, his ball takes a bad bounce. My ball! Someone help! The superheroes show up in a flash. To the playground and beyond. We'll get your ball. They lift bulldozers, leap buildings, and tie themselves in knots. And finally, after all that, they still can't get Sheldon's ball. If superheroes can't help me, who can? Well, Mimi, Twee Twee, and Adorbs know the answer. Emergency kittens, we make everything better. The emergency kittens leap and spin, bat and stretch, climb and tumble. They knead and scratch, chase and pounce. And then they get really serious. And honestly, who can resist that? We're emergency kittens. We're always here for you. Thank you, friends, for joining me today for a very special Comix Con edition of Storytime with Miss Sarah. I hope you enjoy all the other fun videos and activities, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!